Hello people. So I'm trying really to install this new some new apps, because every time I try to use the internet nowadays there's always a new app. So now there's like 10 different new apps. They're all too complicated. But on the other hand, it seems it's better. It's easier now if I use those apps to go live. Because what I'm doing is like I record on my computer and then I upload it, and I'm not editing the video. So the best is me to go straight live, and there will be chats and things like that, but it's not happening. I'll learn it soon. But the first thing first, I'd like to explain two things. That's the reason of this video, okay? Number one, what's the Bring Civilization Back Trusts, which is this beautiful PCB trusts, Bring Civilization Back Trusts. It's a trust fund, okay? It's finance business. And this picture, okay, was taken in the hot country of the moment, which is Denmark, okay? This is me, okay? This is me 7 years ago, 2019, and I was at this politics event in Copenhagen, Denmark, and it was exactly about what's happening nowadays. I mean, we're in politics, we talk, explain, make videos, explain once again, pay, don't pay, ask for payment, the whole thing, you know, but some problems, they are still there and they need to be addressed, okay? But what's the Bring Civilization Back Trust, which is the question I get all the time, okay? And then I answer, well, go check the videos online, because there's a lot of videos there where I explain what's the Bring Civilization Back Trust in English, in Italian, in Espanol, in every language, okay? But I will explain it once again. The Bring Civilization Back Trust is related to my scope of business, okay? Because I am a real person. I work industrial. I come from the industry, manufacturing industry. Like everything I do, everything I wear is real, it's concrete, it's industrial. What does that mean? This hat, for example, I was criticized by an Argentinian journalist who bitched that it was too old. Because you see, it's a bit but it's real. It's not. I didn't make it. Like I purchased it in Tennessee, on the border of Tennessee and Georgia, before 2020. Okay, in the United States. Like this shirt, it's Washington D.C. It was purchased in Washington D.C. at the Hyatt Hotel there in Washington D.C. And so it is real. This is a real watch. You see, it's made in Japan, like a real one. Okay, so I'm real. I come from the manufacturing. What does that mean? I am reality. Okay, so the Bring Civilization Back Trust talks about exactly my scope of business, which is sales. What I do is industrial sales, and usually large volumes, because every time you talk in reality, every time you talk industrial, you're talking big, massive amounts of funds. So I do know the whole case of lifestyle. I know everything about life nowadays, okay? And something real that I have here as well, which I will share so people don't get their blocked because I support Donald Trump, okay? But this one is Bill Clinton, people. Look, Bill Clinton. I purchased this face-to-face at the Bill Clinton Presidential Center there in Little Rock, Arkansas. And then you ask, why have you been to Arkansas? Because I was trying to order rice there, because I sell rice with my own brands, okay? And the thing is that what happened? With all this Bring Civilization Back problem, what happened? Now, this big supplier, which is Riceland there in Little Rock in Arkansas, Stuttgart actually in Arkansas, he's copying my brand. So now I have a problem with Riceland as well there in Arkansas, because they have like they registered Best Rice, which is my brand. And again, and then you ask about Augustin, what happened? What was the issue there? If you have a successful brand that's in the market for so many years, what happened there? Well, the thing is that I am an entrepreneur. I started my business on my own with my own phones and all that, and then we go back to what civilization we're facing today, okay? You have all these big sharks that they just steal the ideas of everyone online, you know, now, you know, it's on the news. I don't even need to talk about what's going on, okay? And then you go about something that I have explained in several videos that I have seen produced, is about how justice works nowadays in the Western world, okay? People People in the West has a habit of saying that the whole world is the West. It's not, okay? It used to be maybe 500 years ago, okay, but it's not right now, okay? Right now we have Middle East, we have Asia, we have Africa that's booming and growing, okay? I'm talking here about Latin America, the United States, in Europe, Australia, okay? The Christian-oriented, you know, Western civilization, okay? Well, what does happen? The issue is there is this cross between the Talmud law, which is the Jewish law, Roman law, which is the European law, and now the Sharia law. And because of this conflict of three different jurisdictions working combined, or something that they call Jewish-Christian thing, okay, it is not working, okay? For example, I am Italian and I work under the Roman law. I exist under the Roman law. So, for what reason, for me to make justice in my community, why do I need to learn Talmud law, okay? It's a big issue, it's been discussed like everywhere, you know, because we have the common law. What happened to the common laws? Why this confusion becomes Talmud law and the Roman law, which they're completely different people. Completely different. Talmud law is based on individualism and matriarchy. Roman law is based on altruism and patriarchy. So it's completely different environments. Like there's no point on mixing both. It's not. It's whatever. But if they get mixed, then we have the common law, which will analyze each community and come out with a solution plan for the conflict. Okay, which I still do not have, to be honest. Okay. It has been 10 years of bringing civilization back to us, because when I consider the first year, that would be 2016, because that's what definitely I start to go legal. Before, I was still politics, diplomacy, assuming the problem was this, you know, let's move to something new. But then when it was 2016, I was very drastically boycotted by a supplier of mine. His name is Joao Marcos Vencato, case L600-15, which everyone can see there on my channels. There's plenty of videos. It's absurdly documented. There's videos, there's police reports, there's attorneys involved. Everybody is in charge to come out with a solution plan about this case. But well, it seems that the solution has been force majeure. Okay, the entire country of Brazil now is under restrictions. So I couldn't manage to have a solution for my case specific, but the entire country of Brazil now is being monitored. Brazilian citizens do not have the rights to apply for immigration in the United States. Now there's huge import duties against Brazilian-made products. So it went a bit worse than what I expected. I was expecting the Joao Marcos Vencato with Genil de Guerra, his attorney, and also all other people from the community of Brazil, because this case was fully reported to the authorities in Brazil and in Europe. And they never came with a solution plan, and they falsified my brains with the American Alfallah rice. Okay, was a $10 million business. We're waiting for the authorities in Brazil to come out with a solution plan. It has never happened, but you know the case is there. But that would be the beginning of the Bring Civilization Back Trust, because what was the issue? Number one is the thing why it's a trust fund is like for us to definitely come out with justice. We need to pay for the costs. Now, you know, I kind of understand, because there's some issues about neoliberalization, okay? Because what happened, like in the 90s, and all those countries, they were privatized. Not only Argentina, you know, like America, everywhere, there's this big solution plan about getting rid of everything that's public. So they privatized the justice, they privatized the banks, they privatized. So, I mean, we're back to year zero, as we have no states. We are stateless, okay? So as there is no states, but the jurisdiction is there, the issue is that usually the state will cover the costs, the running cost of these lawsuits. And what's the issue nowadays? Those states, they have no cash. So how come the state attorney of Florida, how come the state attorney of Rio Grande, how come they're going to process this expensive law if they have no money, okay? So I am the one who needs to finance, so I need to act as if I were the government, understand? And that, but well, if I'm not the government, you know, because I was existing based on the Roman law, so I was assuming that there was a state that will cover my security, okay? That's why I filed all the lawsuits and the police reports and the whole thing. But for my surprise, there is no state. So now I need to find money to pay for the for the costs, okay, which is all reflected in my invoices and the whole thing, you know, but whatever, okay. So that's the case about the Greek civilization back trust, because we were trying to have a solution plan for the finances needed in order to make things a bit more civilized, okay. And then it goes about what I do for business, which is sales and marketing. So every time, like the trade shows, the parties, the business dinners, you know, like because now we came to the super Ashkenazi thing. That's like, if I want to sell something, I just need to tell I have this, like say these sunglasses, okay? They're not for sale again, but maybe someone writes down a comment there, say, look, I'd like to buy them. Maybe I'll take it into consideration, okay? But it's something like the Ashkenazi way of selling. It's just selling. Me have this sunglass for sale. Boom, that's it. And then, well, I listen to that because I have a massive amount of offers of people that want to hire my services, and then I go back, you know, because now it's 10 years of this, so now it's a bit more difficult than it was 10 years ago. So now when people ask me to sell something for them, I like another client, okay, and then like, and for example, it's happening to me with the Ashkenazi community here in Argentina, because they have needs, because they want to sell a lot of products, hotels, pianos, there's lots of very good products, which I like, and they're good products to sell. But then I tell them their costs involved, and it's called sales costs. Like it's not even, but and then I go into an Ashkenazi negotiation. Ashkenazis is a version of Jewish people. They're very popular in Argentina, okay? Which is Jewish people from Europe and from Asia, okay? I'm just talking about this market because I'm working the Jewish Ashkenazi market recently, okay? And but I do business with the Jewish Sephardists, I do business with the Jewish Messianics, I do Jewish business with Europeans, Asians, Arabs, okay? All sorts of people, African Americans, everybody, okay? I work international, okay? But everybody's been victim of the same trade, okay? Everybody's trying to find out the solution plan about how to process a sale, okay? And then I go and I say, look, there's costs involved, and it's a very hard time because it's like it's very raw now. It's very brutal, like raw, okay? Like or flats, very flat. It's something like that's what. No, I'm not. Like it happened to me already. It was in a meeting not that long ago in Buenos Aires where I have to waste about an hour of my time explaining what I do, okay? Because there was clients, people, it's a business meeting, and I was inviting. It was a very nice acai, just from the rainforest. It was very good, very nice fruit from the rainforest that's come from the Save the Amazon today. It's another venture that we have here again. And but anyways, it was I spent about 1 hour of my time explaining what I was doing. Okay, and I do this for 30 years. You understand? Like 20 years ago, it wasn't like that. Okay, so it is like that nowadays. So I need to explain what I do. Okay, so I don't think the civilization's back yet, but then nowadays you're kind of wondering what civilization, what we're talking about, you know, like. But I believe it's something like I am a creature from the 80s and 90s, and in the 80s and 90s, we lived like a bubble of a dream. Where it was super fun and good, and we did not most of people my age, you know, we did not really understand what went wrong and why we didn't became stuck on the 80s and 90s, because people are happy about that. There's even comments about Germany, for example, which is going down the hill like crazy right now, okay? I remember that in the 90s in Germany, they would say that Germany, like they reached like premium, like the perfection as a society, like for what reason they took the decision to demolish this whole thing and go back and have this thing, you know, it's kind of complicated, but anyway, that's what Bring Civilization Back Trust Fund is about. And then how does that work? For example, Brazil and America. What's going on? Like now, the government of the United States is overtaxing with import duties from products made in Brazil. So now there's this block of funds which are being charged based on products coming from Brazil. What are these funds going to be used to? To recompose the civilization that Brazilian people are trying to destroy, okay? So if Brazilian people, in order to destroy civilization in America, they took the decision to do slave work. I was victim of slave work, for example, 2 years ago in Brazil on the L1061 case, okay, with the Amazon rainforest. They were using the Amazon rainforest cause to slave and use people online. I was victim of that. And it was fully reported. My lawsuits are wonderful. They were fully reported. Police reports are wonderful. Okay, but that was a fact. That happened. Okay, and it's criminal law. Okay, but that's why they reach cheap pricing by enslaving local people, and they slave all sorts of people in Brazil. Okay. Then we go with the Jewish Messianic thing. There's a lot of Jewish Messianic people in Brazil. So then when you talk to Jewish Messianic people, they will explain to you some law that do exist in Brazil against slavery, but it's not put in practice because Judaism, Messianic Judaism, preaches like an appearance. It's a religion, okay? It is, the foundations are Jewish, but superficially they are European, okay? So they will copy and paste all these laws from America, from the European Union, okay? But they will put, and they will be discussing that, but then I know, but that's a law. We are filing a lawsuit about what happened in practice, not about what you're talking about the reality, okay? And that's what you're getting charged for, not about what you're talking about. And actually for us to continue to listen to your story, you need to pay us to be listening to the whole story, okay? That happened, okay? In an auction in Washington D.C. in September, okay, that ambassador of Brazil in Washington D.C. he made like a huge presentation there, and then, and people are like, but why is he telling all that if the hearing is about this cases in particular, okay? But anyways, the thing is that's so with that fund that the United States is charging now from imports from products produced by slaves in Brazil, okay, that they're not getting paid, they're living in favelas, okay, they're paid with illusion, fantasy, all the fraud they do in Brazil. Then, okay, they're enslaving those people there, now let's hire them in America, okay? So, for example, my job, for example, is marketing, so I'm already in America, okay? So, obviously, I can definitely sell Brazilian-made product and use a chunk of those funds to do what was enslaved in Brazil. That would be probably marketing, sales, intellectual property, which is a big issue here at the Bring Civilization Back Trust. I had my brands falsified in Brazil. I was victim of slavery labor, cutting off, stealing, it's something that happens in Argentina too. In Argentina, they call it the manotazo argentino, which is when you get distracted and an Argentinian will come and they'll do the manotazo, which is something that same as in the United States, Argentinians, they don't steal cheap stuff. That would be more Brazil and Africa, okay? Like Argentinians, they will not steal this, okay? In America, they would not. But if they see a contract that's valued a couple of good money, same way as it happens in America, it's very common in Argentina. Argentinians, they will steal the contract, okay? They do this manotazo and they steal objects as well. That one is a bit scary, okay? Like that's something specific from Argentina, which is I consider completely uncivilized. It's Argentinians have a very strange relationship with money and with dead people. The famous case is Maradona. He's a soccer player. He was super famous in Argentina, but the whole world is talking about how he was murdered, okay? Like Argentinians had the balls to kill and murder the most famous and person in the last 100 years of the history of Argentina. Like this guy was a soccer player, very charismatic, good guy, okay? He was abandoned at the hospital and led to die, okay? And there's videos about this man struggling at a hospital in Buenos Aires, and what people even in Argentina say, because people in Argentina are used to this part of the lifestyle in Argentina, is like his objects were being stolen when he was still struggling at the hospital. And as he was a celebrity, like Argentinians were stealing objects that belonged to him, like shoes, shirts, like a cap, like a sunglasses, because they had an added value because they belonged to Maradona. So they say even at the hospital there was missing objects, at his house, personal. There were issues with his body as well after he deceased. There were people fighting for his body, that they wanted to steal his bones and stuff and keep it somewhere, piece of his hair and things like that. Well, I do not consider that civilized, okay, but it's already kind of a culture here, and it seems this comes for a long time. This thing about objects of people that dies. So if you die in Argentina, watch out, because people instead, if you're feeling sick in Argentina, it's part of the culture here. Like it's not made with a bad faith. It's just banalized. It's something normal. Like people, they will let you die if you see you have a nice watch. Like this was a $300 watch. If I'm struggling, they will, oh, he's dying, so that's it. They don't give a shit. Like he has a nice watch. I'm not taking this guy to the hospital. I let him die, and I do the manotazo, and I take this watch home. It's not even considered crime in Argentina. It's part of the culture here. Okay, that's why even this thing about Maradona, as people overseas are scared about that, but not necessarily Argentinians. They're really that they don't. It's a culture thing. Anyway, I'm talking all about this, about explaining what civilization, what sort of civilization. I will say it's my little American-oriented world, which is kind of a lot associated with the European Union in the 90s, okay, not what it is right now, and so that's Bring Civilization Back. It started 10 years ago. As a name, only 5 years, okay, and it's a fund that works with price transference, okay. People in Brazil, let's talk Brazil because I'm already explaining. They enslave people, they pay no tax, they support slavery, they fraud and corruption, criminality and all that in order to reach cheaper pricing, okay? And favor some of the rich people that controls this whole thing, okay? Well, if this person wants to sell to civilized country, there is tax, okay? So that's going to be overtaxed about maybe 100% maybe, okay? And then this 100% is going to reinserted in the civilization that we're trying to protect down here. Do you understand? You understand? So okay, self-service there. They want to pay. It's all about being cheap. It's not all about being cheap. Where you come from? Okay. So that's what it is about. And I think I have said that all. And well, in these 5 years, then we asked like, what have we got in results? I have a pile of business, but we're still struggling with the finances. Okay, it seems the last people that really want to join are the finances. I got financing banking people, bankers. Okay, because the issue the banking industry have is that they need collaterals. They need a guarantee that they're going to receive some return from this whole thing. So I believe that maybe now with the new jurisdiction, actually we definitely received a letter from President Donald Trump. It was very nice. He did send a letter to us, very nice letter talking about law. So it seems like kind of getting the law, sustainability for law, sustainability law, okay, and then maybe that will give bankers some sort of safety, that they will understand that those funds they're going to unblock are going to be they're going to have some return. That's normal of the banking industry, okay? They cannot simply just spend and spend and spend. That's why charity, for example, is complicated, and this is not charity. This is just to rebuild a civilization, okay? I have cases, okay, like for example, business dinners, and stories from, because I started my career like 30 years ago, and usually sales costs, they were just normal. I wouldn't be working out of my own computer, like it's normal. Like it's for example, I was talking to a very good client here in Argentina yesterday, for example, and she's 70 years old, 70, okay, it's a lady, okay, and she comes from a very good background, but she's basically desperate because she does want to open this furniture stores. But she's scared, like, but why this massive manufacturer from Italy, all they offer is just a WhatsApp text message. Like, why they didn't show up? Why they didn't bring samples? Like, I want to open a store of imported high-end furniture. We even mentioned that we can even invite the soccer player, like famous people in the city, to join. And like, for what reason? For reason this huge manufacturer took the decision, was not a good idea to spend this $10,000, $20,000. You understand? Why? Well, because it's a market nowadays, it's about being online and videos and the whole thing, but it's not working. The store was not working anymore. Like that. So that's what the Being Civilization Batteries is. Hopefully, the payments are going to be unblocked soon, and something new that's pretty cool. And I'm waiting, like I definitely like on social media. Okay, we found this lady, Julia Davis. Where are you? Okay, I've been following you, and I understand that you live in Los Angeles and New York, but that's a state. I'm not sure if it's Ohio or something, that you have been in Europe as well. I would do some merchandise. She has a jewelry shop which is called J Day Jewelry, and her bestseller idea is the war on beauty, which I love. I started following like 3 months ago. I got a lot of synergy until she definitely made some more personal videos recently when she's telling her story. And like, so I've been tagging her and texting her and doing some interactions with her. It's like, hi Julia, how are you? My name is Augustin, I'm a nice guy. And the funny thing is that she started her the war on beauty simultaneously to the Bring Civilization Back trusts that we started like in 2020. Her case was also in 2020 when it definitely come out with this is a business. Okay, there is some more similarities in her case because I do have Jewish and European mixed in my family. Okay, she does have that as well. Okay, and she actually even looks a bit like my younger sister. Her looks is even similar to my younger sister. Okay. The thing is that she was raised Jewish because of his dad, but then at some point she took the decision to follow her mom's religion. She's Catholic. My case is similar, but something that I do know the Jewish community, but I'm not Jewish. Okay. The thing is how Judaism came to my life. Okay. I am European, my family from Europe, Ireland and Italy. Okay, and I was raised between Brazil and Argentina on this European South American community. And South America, there is a lot of Judaism, okay? Primarily Messianic Judaism for over 500 years, okay? Like one of the first Jewish families in Argentina are the Silvas, the Lopez, the Nogueiras, the Rodriguez. There is very famous Jewish families in Argentina. Like the country of Argentina means money, okay? So then you understand the Jewish foundations of this part of the planet, okay? The hardest part is that people assume that only Orthodox people is Jewish, and actually I believe, my personal opinion, Orthodox people are the last Jewish of all, okay? Because the Orthodox, they study, they read the Torah, so somehow they develop some international culture and all that. But here in South America, we have a very popular religion, which is Messianic Judaism. It's also popular in Northern Africa, okay? Messianic Judaism is like the foundations of lifestyle is Jewish. They live in the Old Testament only. They're very individualistic. They see altruism as something stupid. They see individualism as something smart. Usually Europeans, we believe that individualism means selfish, not smart. We Europeans, we believe that altruism means generous, not stupid, okay? That you see how contradictory Jewish and European people are, okay? But the Messianics, especially the Messianics of Jesus Christ, they create this Messianic facade, which is something that it was a religion that started with the Inquisition in Spain and Portugal. So that's why people get very confused with South America. But that's a religion, it's called Judeo-Messianic, okay? It is a bit of bipolar. A lot of Jewish Messianic people, they do depend on drugs to survive. If you interview Jewish people in Argentina and in Brazil, they do very high consumption of psychiatry pills, mostly for bipolar diseases, which is this bipolarity of being Jewish and European simultaneously. Being matriarchal and patriarchal, for example. Europeans are patriarchal, Jewish people are matriarchal. You can be both all the time. That's a lot of exercise, and you can have mental issues about that. So it is a complicated religion, but it does exist, it is there, and in my case, I had access to that religion through marriage, okay? My dad, and then it goes to this cross culture, okay? On an European point of view, my dad married a Jewish lady. On a Jewish point of view, a Jewish lady married my dad. You see how contradictory it is? And I have a brother cousin here also. that on an European point of view, because his wife was Spanish, okay, he divorced from his Spanish wife and married a Jewish Ashkenazi lady from Poland, okay, Argentinian, Polish, Israeli, okay, but on the Jewish perspective, it's not like that. On Jewish perspective, it's like Sophia Nietzsche divorced him from his Spanish wife and married him because he switched from patriarchy to matriarchy, and that's also in the jurisdiction. Then we go back to the common laws. All these lawsuits are fully explained, and then we put it there like with the common law. Okay, so I have a call now with someone who owes me some money. So let's see if this brings civilization. Let's answer this call on the video. Let's see what happened. Hello, how are you? Hola, ¿qué tal? Ecco, quería saber sobre el lobby. Ecco, sobre el lobby con relación a la comunidad de los Nogueira, ¿se desbloqueó algún pago? Ah, muy bien, eso está bien, así, eso está bien, y desbloquearon. No puedo, no, ahí me tiene que pagar por eso. ¿Entiende? Porque si quiere hacer esa parte tiene que pagar, ¿entiende? Una consultoría. No, entonces él no pagó, es un default, eso es un default. So yeah, so they didn't pay. They're messianics, you know, there's always a condition. So that's the thing, you know, like that was a payment that was supposed to be processed today. This is about case L600-15 that's been disputed both in Argentina and Brazil for 5 years now. No payments were unboxed. The new thing about this chapter, and then on the Bring Civilization Back Trust, is that now this has to do with criminality, okay? South America is a lot of criminality in South America, okay? The issue now is that this defendant now is committing crimes in the United States. So that's what's new about this case, because that's why, because he was in Miami in September, and he spent about $80,000 he was supposed to pay me on past due invoices and agreements. And usually on the civilization that we try to defend, when you get a payment, the first thing you do, you call the people you owe money. And actually, I was a collaborator, okay? And I collaborated with this person, okay? He did not do that, okay? He started playing games, you know, messianic. This was a call from Brazil, the country I just mentioned, is under sections right now. And the issue is that there was this massive problem there in Miami. It was Sergeant James Costas was involved from the Fort Lauderdale police, because the defendant was in Miami physically with his wife. They're from the Jewish Messianic community, the Nogueiras, okay? And spending about $10,000 a day, people. $10,000 a day, okay? And at the Fana Hotel, luxury items, everything that money can buy, okay? And Miami can offer, okay? No payment was processed, just $400. Then we're back, you know. But you know, they're on the other side of the wall, and it's force majeure. We leave the authorities decide what can be done. But something that I say all the time is like, what happens in Las Vegas is stay in Las Vegas. But what happens in Miami, Augustin, this guy here, tells all over the world, because really what happens in Miami should be advertised. Because this is case L107725. It happened in Miami, okay? That was September this year. I mean, I laugh about it but it's not, I'm not supposed to laugh at all, okay? But the results that I had to request, actually not, I canceled the invitation because I was the sponsor of this gentleman to the United States. So he applied for his B1, B2 business tourist visa, okay, to the United States 12 years ago, issued by my company, okay, and even the tickets was also sponsored by my company, okay, in America, okay. And now, this year, he had a bill to pay of business that we're doing. There's business, there's a history about, and he has a massive amount of invoices. And he travels to, and then he's even calling me and asking, going back to this slavery, he was enslaving me. Because he does not speak English, he does not understand what's the difference. He wanted to know if he would travel from Colorado to New York City on a driving, and I said, no, you don't drive, you use the airplane, like, and then you pay the airline tickets and things like that. He was taking benefit about investments that I made the year before to try to do the mediation between him and his ex-wife, because his nephew lives in America right now, and so I have a lot of free consultancy, and then I tell him, like, look, that there's costs, and okay, I'll book this airline tickets for you. Okay, please deposit $2,000 in the bank account of the company, and we'll issue those because you try what. Oh no, I'm gonna spend. I want to deposit $1,200, and I'm like, you want to deposit less than what the tickets are worth? So something like, I'm doing this full service of consultancy, booking tickets, the whole thing for, and you're sending less than what the ticket costs. It's like, I even need to take money from my own pockets to complete the payment of these tickets. I mean, are you serious? Then that was one, because the full negotiation took 6 full months, okay? From August up to December. Now in December I said, okay, this case is closed, okay, there's no, I think, like, unfortunately, the authorities did not respond properly, because actually I do have questions about Sergeant James Costas once he was serviced with the reports about what was happening. Daniela Nogueira and her husband, they were physically in Miami. I mean, there's viatures like everywhere in Miami. They could definitely have sent a viature to the final hotel and a viature to my office, and at least to check the IDs, and that would be an evidence that they were for real there, okay? For some reason, Sergeant James Costas took the decision not to do so, as far as I know, okay? As far as I know, I believe it should have, if they should have taken my police report seriously, I believe this case would have been solved, because a lot of crimes that happen because people don't know they're committing crimes, okay? But in this case of my brother, he does know, because he's a white collar, he has a college degree, he's serviced with a massive amount of documentation, even the cancellation of the letter. There was a draft before, so I sent to the American Embassy in Belo Horizonte, where he lives, and also the embassy in Brazil and all that. A massive, all the documentation, he has it all in his hands and everything. And but then we go back to the same problem, like, why you just don't pay? Jesus Christ, but then you go back to the community, That's why I agree with Julia Davis, okay? Like, look, I know at some point everybody has a choice, okay? Everybody has their own religion. We have the common law, so try to make things organized, okay? But, there are some communities that, Jesus Christ, even our Europeans in Argentina, they say that. They say, look, Jewish people in Argentina, they have una relación enfermiza con dinero. Okay? That means that they have a very sick relationship with money. And you're like, Jesus Christ, isn't that easy just to process a payment, say thank you? And also I'm a businessman, usually. I'll finish with this one. I have a new mantra here with my clients in Argentina, which I'll do. It's just this one, okay? Repeat with me. Pago, desbloqueo, prospero. Pago, desbloqueo, prospero. That in English means pay, unblock, I prosper. Do not save money with your sales team, okay? Spending money on sales means investment. It does not mean costs. You are investing or something new, okay? If you want to sell your car, wash your car. Is that a cost? That's not a cost, because you're washing your car and you're spending $100 making a deep cleaning to this car to look beautiful, and maybe you will sell that car quicker at a better price. So that was an investment. You spent $100 and you made $2,000. Because the car, you could have sold it maybe for $7,000, you sold it for $9,000, and quick. Because to sell something quick represents prosperity as well. So that's something that I keep saying on this Greek civilization back trust, which is like, I pay, I unblock, and I prosper. That's why I go back to, for what reason they took the decision not to pay. Because they are, and then at some point, everybody ends up trapped on this, because there's so many people doing that. And then we go back, and I'll close with this one, the case L600-15 or L1002-21, which is the one against Priscilla Zuckerberg and her husband, which is has been fully reported in so many jurisdictions. Now we're waiting for a solution plan about how we're going to address the case, because Priscilla Zuckerberg, she advertised to the entire planet that to work online is cheap, it's free, it's wonderful, it brings solution. It does not. So we go back to that car. So once the things are clarified, I believe Priscilla and her husband are going to really be answering to a lot of problems, that because they are the pioneers. They're the ones who definitely, and they're the ones who canceled my Facebook account in 2019. Okay, because that's how my struggle with them started. Because I started by friendly sending them my invoices. But at some point, Priscilla took the decision to go super Ashkenazi and boom, cancel my account. For example, even I now, when you put my name online, they say that I claim that I have the Donald Trump rally in Dublin campaign and successful page. No, that I claim. I have massive amount of documentation. It's in the hands of the authorities. It's in the hand of the magistratura. There's even people of the European Union, it's all over the place, attorneys, and everybody has access to all the files and everything. There's plenty of that. I was interviewed on the newspaper in Ireland back then, because I had over 14,000 followers on Facebook, and that was the primary social account that I would use. So the whole case is black and crystal clear. And then we go back to the I pay, I unblock, I prosper. I believe Priscilla will be living the life of her dreams. She should have taken the decision to listen to my advice back in 2019, when I gave her this offer of prosperity, physically, face-to-face at the Facebook office in Dublin, Ireland. I did, okay? I went there face-to-face, and I don't know, it's on the process right now, okay? But anyways, thank you very much, everybody who has listened to this whole thing, and there'll be short videos about this. And look, bring civilización de vuelta, traiga la civilización de vuelta, el trust fund. This photo here is manipulated. I was not doing this face. I actually was sending hearts. This is what I was doing. But then when I did this, they made this. They did the same thing and it's interesting, like because it seems like I'm doing this. Hey, Mackay. But I was doing this. Or maybe I did. I think that's what I did. Why? In Italian we say this means why? Perché? I think that's what I was doing here. Perché? I'm not saying the aggressive will be. That's not what I was doing. Okay. But in Argentina was something different, and then they put a picture where I'm wearing this hat here and I'm doing like an ugly look. But that was cool. That's another article that was in a newspaper down here. Okay, so look, thank you, and let's go for 10 years more. Okay, legally speaking, it's 10 years. Okay, marketing speaking, it's 5 years, and there's lots of contents and materials about the Bring Civilization Back and PCB Trust Fund. Then I like to, for talking about this lady, the War on Beauty, okay, Julia Davis. She's a fashion journalist. That's how I understand her. She is under my umbrella, okay? I am the sales manager. So usually as the sales manager, behind me is the manufacturer, okay? Engineering, military, journalists, okay, which is the manufacturing, okay? And then under my umbrella, that would be the people that they work for me, fashion models, restaurants like this one, it's places that I will book, and she would be and she is complaining because she wants to do her job. Like, she loves fashion, she's talented. You can see that she prepares premium contents, okay? And but then she's like, why, there's like $1 million for this ugly piece of stuff here. Why we could be doing something way more interesting? And then she's beautiful. Something just that I add, okay, because I try to explain a lot of things that people get confused on what's art nowadays. I need to understand that because of as a sales guy, for the message to be seen, you need to understand the tools. A lot of art that we see in public, it's made for people to see it from the car or from a bus or even from a plane, okay? Not face to face. So when you're walking and you see that monstrosity, you think like, this is so ugly. But when you're driving, it's different because you drive and then you see that thing. Okay, so that's a lot. That's a big part of it, and then there's a lot of things. Okay, but I do agree with her because she's on the same boat as I am, and in my case, it's the craziest of all because I am the prosperity people. I am the key person. Why would you save money on the key person that's bringing entire businesses to you? Okay. So stay tuned, and hopefully funds are going to be unboxed soon. It's not a bit unboxed, it's like collecting. And also there's not this thing only against billionaires, no. It's like, look, I talk to everybody, you know, talk to poor people, black people, like women, men, like everybody, okay? It's general, okay? It's general, okay? Like that's why I go more into Priscilla Zuckerberg in Miami, in California, Sherry Redstone Corp that she manages classic media, okay. Priscilla Zuckerberg manages digital media, and there's Tamika Soros. She's like my direct competitor because she runs all the commodities of South America, and you know, and I do commodities, sell rice, grains, soybeans, you know, and then. So my direct struggle with them because you know, and they are the ones that they have advertised this thing about this lifestyle, you know. So that's why, but it's being hard for everyone. Okay, I'm just saying because every time I ask for contributions or try to sell something, like the Gringos in Buenos Aires show right now, for example, like, it doesn't matter. Like if you can't do $5, $10, it's the same thing. Anyone's going to watch that. But I do have resistance from all kinds. Okay, usually people try always to follow what the upper class is doing. So upper class is not paying. Why am I going to pay? Okay. That's usually how society works. Okay, so everybody's welcome to contribute, and there are several methods of payment, but it's a fund, so it's more there's returns on that. Okay, it's not because I am an industry. It's different when it's charity. You understand? It's not that I'm asking just for me to survive. As they were trying to say, someone listened to the call that I got here from the defendants there in Brazil. They say that please, I'm telling them that you need this to eat. They're trying to twist the story, kind of saying this charity. I actually like I try to finish, but there's always something new to tell. Okay, that happened for real. That was in December. Okay, I asked someone who's related to military and reinforcement agencies in Argentina. Okay, to assist, and they did. Okay, so they did in good faith. They tried to call a defendant that owes me money. Okay, and then I witnessed that face to face because he made the call just in front of me, and then I heard the defendant. Okay, this is what the defendant did. Okay, he twists his voice and he tells me, "Oh, are you talking to Augustin? Oh, we're so sorry. Is he doing all right? We're so concerned about him." Oh, but so that's usually the tone, you know, that the defendants are using. Something like that's charity. And that's why I go back, you know, now the AI saying that I claim that I did this. I claim I had the Donald Trump rally. No, I didn't claim anything. That's the reality. There's bills to be paid. There's massive amounts of paperwork, all fully filed in diverse authorities, not only the FBI and the CIA, whatever. You know, it's also the Polícia Federal de Brazil, the Police of Argentina, the Interpol in the United Kingdom, the Gardaí in Ireland, which is the jurisdiction that I am physically. Okay. But so they do have other Dubai also. There's something about Dubai because Dubai would be the place where I go to trade shows. So face to face, physically speaking, the crimes they happen in Dubai. That's why there is also reports filed with the police and authorities in Dubai, the United Arab Emirates. Okay, Dubai, Abu Dhabi, and Iraq. Okay, so that's all. Let's do the lottery again. Let's see what papers I get here. Let's talk about some things. Let's see which one. Oh, let's see which one's in the outline. I have a lot of documentation here. Let's see which one's coming. Oh, look, that's coming. The Priscilla Zuckerberg one. Okay, the L975 L1221. Okay, so this is the one because the thing is that when you know what God's telling me by this lottery that I just played is that I need to file more reports about it. That's what I get from it. Okay, And yeah, so there's new things. Oh, about Switzerland, about the coincidence that happened in my life. Okay, there's several coincidences in my life. One is that I'm born June 2nd, the same day as the Jubilee of the Queen Elizabeth in the United Kingdom, and the same day as the Republic of Italy. Beginning. This is June 2nd, and there's something that just happened, which is this a club there in Switzerland that was part of the Le Constellation. So there's also the videos there because I'm doing some merchandising for Le Constellation, Chateau Constellation wines from Switzerland, okay? Because I have the representation from wine from the exact same village where Cross Montana happened. So that's a lot of a coincidence in my life. So that also happened, and then I had done some contributions to them, which was some free advertising. I did some videos I have posted. The only thing that the algorithm understands is publicity, so they're not promoting without a cash payment up front because it's publicity, okay? But they should, because it's more charity publicity. I'm doing that to keep people happy there, because Chateau Constellation, it's a winery there in Canton de Valais, which is just the exact same village, okay? Because you have Crans Montana, then you have Sion, okay? They're just, and it has the same name. And Dolphin, which was the girl who created the name a long time ago, maybe 10 years ago, okay? She was super happy. She mentioned why she created the name Constellation for these wines, and I like her. It's super cute, okay? And then this disaster happens, the same village, which is a club who's using the same name, and in marketing, probably they saw the wine, the Constellation, and they get the name. Because the thing about Constellation is that when you are in the French Alps or the Swiss Alps or Italian Alps, yeah, at night you see all the sky of all the constellation and the stars. It's always beautiful, and you see that happens on the advertising videos that I have recorded in Geneva. And then this disaster happened. But then when you go to study the case, well, that is part of the Bring Civilization Back Trust, because on my negotiations with Chateau Constellation, we spoke about this problem, okay, in society nowadays. And then when you go there, it's like, why those bar owners, to compete with digital life, which I consider drugs, okay, they have to try to make I definitely would like to see their numbers, their figures for real life, where they're really making money on that or not, okay, because it's really hard to, because that establishment goes under my umbrella as well, because it's a restaurant. Usually restaurants such as this one where I am right now, okay, it's called Smart Gelateria in Argentina, and usually they compete with people ordering online from home, okay, and who's making money with online stuff, okay, which for me works like drugs, okay. And but then how about these young kids are mostly from Italy, I'm Italian, we do appreciate face-to-face lifestyle. They make this huge effort to go there, spend New Year, okay, and then what happens is kind of, we're back to Bring Civilization Back just now, year 5, okay? And I wish I had more success of people who will be a bit more civilized, okay? For that. But anyways, life keeps going on, okay? So look, thank you, stay tuned, and have a great weekend, everyone. Greetings from Rosario, Argentina, South America. Augustin here. Donald Trump support, that does not mean I am a Donald Trump, okay? I have already made several videos explaining why I support Donald Trump. It's about being real, okay? I'm done with all this falsity, okay? In my perspective, to be honest, okay, I believe I am a Democrat Party under the Republican umbrella, because I believe the Democrat Party is, which is here again, the Democrat Party, I think it's all false nowadays. It's all false. It's all false. It's just talking, like when it goes to things in practice, it's like a Russian roulette, to be honest. So, and I can keep talking about lots of things, okay? So have a great day, and very good to have everyone down here. And newcomers are always welcome.